Right then, so bit of track prep today. This thing up here is going on its first drift day in 2 weeks now, and the car's pretty much ready. I've got spares of everything that has broke on it in the past and a few bits and bobs extra that I think is worth taking. But ever since I rebuilt the rear end and it was up in the air for so long, when I got it back down and took it for its alignment, the steering was quite sticky. I've never, it's like, doesn't really want to drive in a straight line, and the steering wheel feels like it's sticking, and power steering's gone a bit weak. So we've obviously got a problem somewhere in the power steering system. When I got this car finished, I took it straight for an alignment. So I want to be able to fix this issue and get good power steering back without affecting the front end alignment. So what I'm going to do today is start out by replacing the pump first, take it out for a spin, and if the power steering feels better, then happy days. I'll probably do the reservoir while I'm there because I've got a spare. And then if that fails, we've got a steering rack on the floor that we thought had an issue, and it turns out it didn't. There was play. We thought there was play in the rack, but it wasn't the rack, it was something else. So there's a brand new purple tag rack sat on the floor waiting for it. So basically, this is your power steering pump right there, and that is going to be the first part that I replace, just because it's easiest to do without fucking up my fresh alignment. So try that, get the bumper off just so it's easy to access, and we'll go from there. Front bumper off. Literally a case of 4 bolts and we're off. So here is the culprit. I mean, it looks like it's seen better days. I mean, it's all still bloody hot because I've only just finished driving it here, but yeah, we're gonna get that out. There's literally just a tensioner up there. You twist, the belt comes off, and then it's 3 bolts, pulley, done. Easy as that. That nut right there is what you swing off the tensioner with. That is a 16 mil, and if you've got the right tools, you can slide it in between the fan and your pulleys, and basically you turn that clockwise. It'll move the tensioner, slacken the belt off, and then you're free to do, obviously remove your pulley, remove your lines from your pump, and then the pump comes off. That's it. There we go. So that twists, and the belt comes off. Easy as that. Now you've just got to fight to get your socket off, because you forced it in there like a tit.
A few moments later.
There we go. That will stay wrapped around the water pump, basically. There we go. 313s. Yeah, there's some, don't feel the best. Some play in that, so hopefully that does the trick. Because I've tightened these up very well in the past. Let's see if I can shock them out. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. Just be gentle with these pulleys because they are only plastic. You can give them a tap, preferably with a hammer, not a ratchet, or try and get behind. There we go. Literally just shoddy old plastic. The pump then. So this is connected to your reservoir, so if you are replacing your reservoir as well, you don't necessarily need to snip this and pull this, but this goes directly to your rack. This is your high pressure line. That's just your feed line from your res. And so essentially this needs to be removed. This banjo, it's 22mm. This pump specifically is connected to a bracket, but what I'm going to do is probably pull the bracket off with it and then put the bracket back on, because I'm 99% sure the bracket is just these two 13mm bolts here. If not, there might be one. There should be one hiding around the back there, but I've not got it in. So those two 13mm bolts are a lot easier to do than, there's 3 Torx screws either side of this bracket, so the 13mm make more sense in my opinion, and just swap the pumps onto the bracket out of the car and sling it back in as one unit. Now here's what I'm working with. So I've got 2 pumps to choose from. I've got an OEM one that has been used, mileage unknown, but it is OEM. It's LUK made BMW pump, covered in oil, unsurprisingly. And then I've got this one. This is a brand new aftermarket version because there's no part numbers on the front of it. No LUK stamping, but there is that. And these are near enough identical. I will probably just have to fiddle with the angle of that bar, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this and see what this is like, just because it's got no mileage on it. I know that it's an aftermarket part, but because it's got no mileage on it, I'm going to put this one in, see how we go, and then take this one to the track as a spare, because this has got a snap bolt in it, and I am not trying to get involved in extracting snap bolts today. So if this one was to fail on the track, then it'll take me literally 20 minutes to put this new one on, and it's a temporary fix because it only have 2 bolts holding it in. Cheers. Oh, I'll tell you something. It's not very red anymore.
Oh, yummy. I'm going to move out the splash zone.
There we go. Let that drain out. It's definitely not all of it.
No, I did think that's not a lot.
Just take the lid off the res. Get some air.
That's not even, that glue isn't even old.
No, not too old, but it's quite metallic-y. Well, you say that, but the trouble is it could be rack or pump that's causing it to be metallic-y, couldn't it? You don't know, do you? But I'd rather start with the pump first, because that's not going to mess up my Ben Hamilton special alignment. But that's
Glossy.
brown and glossy, yeah, looks like paint. Be a nice car colour, that.
That's only about, how old's that? Probably 6 weeks?
No.
Maybe a bit more.
But yeah, moral of the story is that shouldn't be that colour. So I'm definitely going to put the res that I've got there in as well. So what we'll do is we'll drop the car down a bit and pull the res out first. Just so I've not got the pump dangling when I'm trying to take the res out. And then crack the pump off and take it all out and replace it. So because of the colour of the fluid, that should be a nice deep bright red. I'm going to do the res as well, so it really is as simple as that 13mm bolt and that 13mm bolt there, just 2, and that res will come free. Mine's holding my intake up, but I'll deal with that. Yours probably won't be the same if you're not a bodge artist. And yeah, that'll be freed off, and then the pump can come out as well. I'm away. There we are. Reservoir's free. And just pass it down through your bay, or what I'm going to do actually is disconnect the hoses instead of trying to throw the reservoir all the way down through the bay. So there's one, there's two, off. So then just these two 13mm bolts. Out she comes. They are different lengths, so just bear that in mind, because they do bolt differently. There we are. Quite considerably different. The longer one goes closer towards the engine, I believe. Well, I'll just confirm that with you when I put it back in, because I didn't pay attention. There we go. Pump out, easy. Nice and easy. These just look like T30s, so you've got 6 T30s to disconnect, your bracket will come off, you can bolt that up to the new one. So that's out with the old and in with the new, so your new bracket's put on for it to bolt nicely up to the existing location. Just like that, slips on nice and snug. So you can grab your bolts and pop them through. I actually believe that. Yeah, ignore me earlier. I'm getting all sorts of things wrong. The long bolt goes to the outside, and the Torx bits that hold the brackets to the pump, they're actually T40s, not T30s, so just bear that in mind. But even though I've not got the res plumbed on yet, I'm going to get this mounted up where it needs to be. They're nice and tight, don't go mega with them because it is only aluminium. And I've only got 2 bolts holding mine in anyway, not 3. Just need to readjust this barb. Then I can connect the high pressure fitting back to it. Stick the res on, fill it with fluid, bleed it. Happy days, hopefully. Hopefully I don't have to do a rack. That'd be nice. So, I'm just going to get my Stilsons on this, some baby Stilsons I've got. Just try and persuade it that way a little bit. There we go. Now, this pressure line banjo can go back on. Don't forget your washers. I upgraded these from crush washers to bonded seals, so these are like hydraulic fittings. So they're a lot more stout. Hold a lot better under pressure. Saves me having to replace them every time as well, basically. And that goes. And then just for good measure while you're testing, wipe it off nice and dry, so if it does leak, you can see where it's coming from. Right then, so Jubilee clip on the end of the new old res. I want to send that hose down towards the pump. Get this barb on there, just like that. and tighten that up. There we go. And then this. Now, I'm not very happy with how that small hose is sitting. Seems to be sitting pretty kinked, which isn't ideal, and it's probably one of the things that's given me issues with the power steering system over time. So what I think I might do is just cut that hose, shorten it a little bit, just in hopes that it gives the hose a bit more room to straighten out instead of kink. Slip your hose onto the bob, nip it up. Like I said, this isn't a pressure line, but it can leak if your hose clip isn't tight enough, so just make sure you've got a decent one on there. This one's pretty toss, so I'm going to go grab another one. Easy. Let's fill her up. Jumping the gun a bit here, because before we do fill her up, we need to get the pulley on and the belt on. So, need your pulley in your 13 mils. Slacken the tensioner. There we go. Now let's fill her up. So, just going to top the reservoir off. Move the suspension by hand. Well, turn the wheels by hand. Make sure there's no leaks. And then when I can see that there's no leaks and the reservoir's to its full point, that's when I'll turn the car on and bleed the car properly with the pump running. Right, let's turn her on. Still spinning as it should. So what I'm going to do is just do the same again, turn the wheels, just get the fluid circulating through, make sure there's no air in it, and the ship's good to go. So, without even putting the car on the floor, the steering doesn't really feel much different, and I can still hear a squeal, which I believe is coming from the rack, which means I'm going to have to replace the rack, even though I didn't want to. Now, it's probably my own fault that this rack has died, because it sat there for a while not doing much, and like an idiot, when I fitted it, I forgot to put one of the CV boots on one of the tie rod boots on one of the tie rods, which has caused one half of the rack to be exposed to the elements, and this has been driven through all sorts of weathers. So I've only got myself to blame, really. Fitting the rack is no issue. It's just, fingers crossed, I can get it back in for an alignment before I take it out on track, because the thing drives great now. It's just this sticky steering is really letting it down. So quick F1 brake and then probably fit in a rack later. So whilst we're here, may as well show you how to fit this rack, considering I've got to do that as well. First thing you'd usually want to do, I've dropped my roll bar just for the sake of it, because getting the rack out itself will be easier. But first thing you want to do is get your boots off to expose your inner tie rod nut. Crack your inner tie rods off, wind them all the way off. You've got your inlet and return there, and just behind it you've got your steering shaft. Your steering shaft is usually either an E-Torx or a 10mm. In this case, mine's been drilled and it's got what looks like an M8 bolt going through it. You just want to loosen that off and knock your shaft off. And then the actual rack itself is just held in by two 15 or 16mm nut and bolts. And my hard line's just connected there by a 10mm, and that's obviously pretty straightforward, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm gonna crack on. There we go. The rack is loose. Am I going to reuse the power steering fluid I've just put in? Yes. Sue me. Jesus. Uh-huh. There we go. There those your washers. So I've gotten the bolt off the steering shaft, and basically what I'm going to do now is just knock a screwdriver in here just to spread it open a little bit, and it'll make it come off really easily. And when I'm putting the new one back in, it should give me a lot less troubles. Fingers crossed anyway. We'll see. I think. Go. Dead rack out. Now, what I did off camera was measure the length that this was sticking out on the previous rack. Just try and get my steering wheel straight. And it was 51mm, and that is also at 51mm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mole grip this end up against the edge of the housing, fingers crossed it won't move while I'm putting it back in. I'm going to try and drive this bolt through. The big banjo line's the one with this tiny little 10mm. So just get that back in. Save it from flying around. There we go. What the hell's that called? Anti-roll bar, put back up. Right, it is only going half a job because I'm not taking my tie rods apart and risking my alignment, but my lovely assistant has made me a makeshift boot. I have got a new pair of boots in there, so if I do damage a tie rod, then worst comes to worst, I can put the proper boots on. But for today, that's going slung back on rack as it is, and she'll be good to go. I've even packed some grease in there, look. Oh, good job wheel don't extend that far. Bit twist action.
Yeah. I can't when it started. I'm not after. What?
No. There's no point in watching me struggle. You may as well watch you struggle, because I've done.
Hey, you did struggle for a bit. Does that look straight to you?
I don't know, thread it and see and find out. Just keep a bit of pressure on wheel as you do it.
I know, I'm doing it back-handed. No.
Right, that's my side all buttoned up. That'll do.
Oh, no, it's not done.
Oh, sorry. Cable tie technician's here. There we go, that's that one done. Should we do a bit of a... There we go. Easy, just as it was. Now, let's fill her up and see if this was all a waste of time or not.
See where your steering wheel is.
Oh yeah, and that. Well, the good news is I can't see any leaks. The bad news is I can still hear it squeaking, but that must just mean that it's not. It must just not be the rack that was squeaking, but fingers crossed when. Right then, it's a new day. In fact, it's a new week, to be honest. It's been absolutely mental. If you've made it this far, thank you. This video has actually turned out longer than intended. And funnily enough, when I actually came this week, after going away for the weekend camping as a little break, I came back, and as soon as I started editing, I completely forgot that I filmed this video. So this is kind of a bonus. And this is sort of the beginning of getting this thing ready to be on track. It's currently Wednesday the 13th, and my first drift day with this thing is the 19th, the next week on the Tuesday. So it's had a full new power steering system, complete refresh, and it drives incredibly. It's transformed the car. I can actually get somewhat of an idea of what this car actually feels like now. With all of its new rear suspension on it. This is the first time I've driven it like where everything works perfectly. The only thing is, even though I double checked that the rack was square and I didn't even touch the tie rods, it has knocked the alignment out. So thankfully, Ben, my good friend Ben, he's going to be aligning the car for me on a quick one over this weekend at some point, maybe Monday latest, ready for me loading it onto the trailer and driving it down to Aylesbury. where I've got a drift day with 10 other E36s, an E39 and an MX-5 all in one group of people for my first day. So intimidated, but excited. Excited to see what the car can do and see what I can do. I would like one of the lads to drive the car as well, because like I say, between 10 E36s, they should know what an E36 should drive like. So hopefully, if I'm struggling with the car, one of the lads can jump in, drive it, and tell me whether it feels right or not. But yeah, I will take the car out for a rip just to show you, but unfortunately it is getting late. Like I say, we've been mega busy. I've been extremely busy with work, Sophie's been busy with work, and getting track prep and buttoning up a few other jobs and trying to get some content on the coupe over in the background. It's been an absolute nightmare, but we're powering through. And like I say, the Vert is now ready. It's ready for its track day. So the next video on that will be actually at the track, which should be a very good laugh, good video. I've got a video to edit up for the coupe. That should be out. I'm going to try and get that out this week as well. And then probably the next video will either be the E30 or the coupe again, because we've got plenty to do with the pair of them that don't even include any parts. So it's mainly just prep. But yeah, if you've made it this far, because I know that it's over an hour, half an hour long now, thank you. I can't imagine I've not got the wildest personality in the world, I wouldn't say, so I can't imagine I'm the most entertaining person to watch for half an hour, but if you've got an E36, hopefully you've learned something, because the power steering systems on these are extremely easy and simple. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you at the track with this thing. Safe.